Award-winning First Nation actor, activist, and educator Nadia George is taking a stand against environmental racism and the pernicious effect that current climate change policies are having on BIPOC communities. Nadia George joins me now for more on this very timely topic. Good morning, Nadia.
Good morning.
We've seen BIPOC communities suffer the manifestations of toxic practices, negligence, and outright corrupt policies really since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. How does this all sort of funnel down and distill into what you call environmental racism?
So I think the key points to this is when we look at people who are in power, policymakers, the people who run and have these hazardous systems in function, and we look at the idea of where they're located. There's a lot of tracking maps that people can Google that show precisely where these things are located and how disproportionately they're always located around what I call ignored communities, but other people would refer to them as marginalized or racialized or low income communities. And what we're seeing is that, these people really don't seem to be heard when they're talking about how these systems affect many parts of their lives.
We don't have to look any further and too far back from what's happening in Iqaluit right now, right? This water crisis.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely shameful, isn't it?
It is. And just really disheartening.
I want to know, how is Indigenous legacy, Indigenous knowledge and appreciation and compassion for the land, the creatures, all of creation, how does that kind of fold into your crusade?
Well, really, the reason why I'm here is to start these conversations and to start making pathways for our knowledge keepers and our land defenders to be heard in more than just what the media is but like how it's stated, that we're seeing all of these people getting fined and arrested and the police there, but there's not a lot of discussion around why that's happening. Like, why are they there? Why are they trying to protect our land and waters? And, people don't understand that this, yes, it is about Indigenous sovereignty and being able to take the land back in the sense of allowing us to do what we've done since time immemorial, and that was protect and respect the land and use it in a way that is sustainable. But if we don't start actually listening and seeing our knowledge keepers as experts in this field, this is going to have a rippling effect for everybody who lives on this planet. And so the idea of that knowledge and the way that we work with the land, we are a part of it. We don't see ourselves as other or separate from Mother Earth. And I think that's a really big piece.
That's a great point. I want to know what goes through your mind, Nadia, when you watch world leaders delivering these, these word salads up on stage at COP26. It's always, drop dead dates that seem to change all the time. And these deadlines, I think, start to lose their gravity after a while. I think climate change is just too abstract for some people to sort of appreciate. It doesn't necessarily inspire the fight or flight response that it should until it's in your face or in your backyard. And then it's too late, right?
Absolutely. I think if we look at it the way we even, talk to ourselves about about SMART goals and things that are measurable and attainable and realistic. But it's really about bringing Indigenous voices, not just to the forefront, but having them sit at the table.
Right.
Explaining to them how we can achieve these goals. And when you talk about climate change as kind of being a big word, it really is, because I don't think people are really seeing the small steps that are being taken by those who really care for the land and the positive outcomes that those have. And we need to start highlighting that more.
We always hear the platitude, think globally and act locally. And another one that I really like is that the young want justice, the old want mercy. Are you encouraged by what you see and hear among the young generation who are fighting, for the survival of this planet?
Yeah, it just, it fills my heart to see that their voices are so loud and they're so, just pushing and breaking those barriers. And I think that that's a big piece of what we want for not only our Indigenous youth, but for all youth. And they're also screaming at us saying, you know, why are we so afraid to admit we're doing it wrong? Why
Yeah.
can't we try differently? But I'm really inspired by them.
Yeah, me too. Nothing like seeing Greta up there on the stage at COP26 saying blah, 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 which is basically what it's been for a generation from world leaders. Nadia George, this is a to be continued conversation. Thanks for starting it with us today here on CP24 Breakfast.
Thank you for having me.